Time to get that Wii U out of storage because Wii U jailbreaking is easier than ever. With just an SD card formatted in FAT32 format, you can install custom firmware on your Wii U and lift it to new heights of gaming glory. And in this video, we'll go over all the steps it takes to get your own Wii U jailbroken with custom firmware installed in it, and we're starting now. Let's make sure you're on the correct official firmware for the console before proceeding forward. Go into your system settings on your Wii U. You'll find your current version in the top right corner of the system settings screen. You should be on version 5.5.3 in the United States, and in some other regions version 5.5.4. Make sure you've updated your console to the latest version of the system software. You'll need to have a Nintendo DS Virtual Console game in order to run this exploit for custom firmware. At the time of this recording, the least expensive game on the Nintendo eShop is still Brain Age for the DS. Go into the eShop by launching the icon from the main menu. Once the eShop loads up, you can do a search to find Brain Age for the Nintendo DS and download it. Slide over to the search icon and type in Brain Age using the Wii U Gamepad and press A. You'll get a list of choices that match Brain Age. The top listing here, Brain Age Train Your Brain in Minutes a Day, is the one that you want. It's for the DS. Touch it on the pad or select it with the A button. At $6.99 US, this game is still the cheapest game for the DS that's exploitable on the eShop. I've already bought it because I've already done videos on Wii U jailbreaking before, so I can just click download, but you'll get the option to buy there in the link. Getting your Wii U jailbroken properly is all about downloading the right files from the right place and putting them on your SD card in the right way. WiiU.hacks.guide is the right place, and I've got it linked for you in the description below. Scroll down on that page to what you need, and you'll need to download all of the files from all of the links that you see here. The reason I have this page specifically linked is that some of these files are actually hosted at WiiU.hacks.guide, and the remainder of them are hosted on the GitHub. In total, there are 9 zip files that you need to download from this page. And make sure to scroll down just a bit, just in case there are some stragglers at the bottom of the list that aren't visible in your browser window. In each GitHub tab that opened, you'll need to download files from the Assets section. From Homebrew Launcher Installer, you need payload.zip. For the Homebrew Launcher itself, scroll down on the page until you get to the Assets section and click on Homebrew Launcher 1.4.zip to download it. Next, you need the Homebrew Launcher channel. On that page, scroll down to Assets until you get to Homebrew Launcher Channel 2.1 and click on it to download it. Next up, the Wii U NAND Dumper. On that page, scroll down to Assets and click on nanddumper.zip to download it. Next on the list, the Homebrew App Store. Scroll down through the initial text until you get to Assets, and then click on Wii U Extract to SD and download it. If you've done it all correctly, you should have 9 zip files in your Downloads folder, and each of them needs to be extracted. Go through them one at a time, right-click and pick Extract. You can use the native path that's already selected and just click the Extract button. And I highly recommend deleting the zip file once you've extracted it in order to eliminate clutter and confusion moving forward. And we're sure not watching this 9 full times. Here comes the magic. All 9 zip files extracted, point made. Let's move on. If you haven't already, take your FAT32 formatted card out of your Wii U and put it into your PC. Winning at Wii U modding comes from putting the right files and right folders in the right place on the SD card. To get started, navigate to your SD card. In this case, I've named it Subscribe. Then right-click, pick New, and you'll need to create a new folder here. And you'll need to name this folder Install, I-N-S-T-A-L-L. Go back to your Downloads folder, then navigate to the Homebrew Launcher Channel 2.1 folder and double-click in. Right-click the folder that's in there, and select Copy. Now go back to the SD card and double-click into the Install folder that you just created. Now right-click and paste that folder into the Install folder on your SD card. Go back to your Downloads folder, and this time go up to the 𝐘𝐿𝐒 folder and double-click into it. You can grab everything that's in this folder all at one time, right-click, and copy all of the contents. Navigate back to the SD card, and paste everything that you just copied right on the root of the SD card. Back to Downloads. This time go into the CBHC Cold Boot 𝐘𝐿𝐒 folder, double click in, and copy everything that you see in the folder. Right-click and pick Copy. Back to the SD card. And on the SD card, you can paste all of the files you just copied right onto the root of the SD card. Alright, let's slow our roll just a minute to deal with a pop-up message that's very important. Along the copy process, you'll be copying over files that actually need to be merged with other files on the SD card. To make this work properly, check Do This for All and then click Yes with the mouse, and then go up and click Replace when prompted. Do this every time you're prompted and it will write the files in the right places at the right time each time. Navigate back to Downloads. This time go to the WUP installer folder, double click in, use the mouse to copy everything that you see there, right click and select Copy. Wait for it, yep, going back to the SD card. Click the SD card, right click and paste everything right to the root of the SD card. And if you're prompted, click Yes to merge and click Replace. Navigate back to the Downloads folder. This time go into the NAND dumper folder. Right click the Wii U folder and copy it. Go to the SD card and right on the root of the SD card, right click and select Paste. And when the pop-up window comes up, select Yes for merge and then click on Replace to select Replace. If you're sensing a navigational pattern here, you're correct. Navigate to Downloads, then go to the Wii U Extract to SD folder and double click in. Select the folder inside, right click and pick Copy. Go back to the SD card, right click at the root of the SD card and paste the folder right here. And once again, if you're prompted, select Yes for merge and then click on Replace to replace files as needed. Back in the Downloads folder, navigate to the folder called Homebrew Launcher version 1.4 and double click into it. Inside that folder, right click on the folder you see here and select Copy. And as is customary, go back to the SD card and at the root of the SD card, right click and select Paste. And again, click Yes for merge and click on Replace as needed. Alright, back to the Downloads folder we go. This time, double click into the Save Me folder in the Downloads folder. Inside Save Me, you'll find yet another folder, right click and pick Copy. Back to your SD card, right click in the root of the SD card and select Paste. And at the prompt messages, click Yes for merge and click Replace as needed. Navigate back to Downloads. This time go into the Payload folder and double click in. Right click on this payload file here and select Copy. Don't paste it to the root. Pay careful attention here. Go back to the SD card and on the SD card double click on the Wii U folder. Now right click and paste that file right in the Wii U folder. And with that, you're done copying files to the SD card. You can safely eject the SD card, put it back into your Wii U, and power on your Wii U console. For the next phase of this exploit, you'll need to take advantage of an exploit in the Wii U browser. Go ahead and launch the Wii U browser. Yeah, I know, you get these elaborately unnecessary theater curtains when you first launch the browser. Then you'll be presented with this screen, so let's transition over to the Wii U Gamepad. On the internet browser on the Wii U Gamepad, tap on the Settings icon in the top right corner. There are a couple of settings you can change to maximize your success with the exploit process. First, tap on or select Delete Cookies with the A button, and select Delete. Once it's done, tap OK. Now scroll down until you get to Reset Saved Data and tap on it or select it with A. When prompted, tap on Reset. It'll ask you again, are you sure? Tap on Reset. And it'll clear out any formerly saved data out of your browser. This just makes for a cleaner browsing experience and a better opportunity for success with the exploit. It goes back to the Wii U main menu. Tap on Internet Browser to go back into the browser. Once you're back inside the Internet Explorer browser, tap on the top address bar and enter in the following address: WiiUexploit.xyz. I'll link this website in the description, but you do have to enter it on a Wii U. It won't do anything on a PC or Mac. You'll be directed to this exploit page. Once the web page loads, tap on Run Homebrew Launcher. After a few moments worth of loading time, and a Wii U logo that appears in the bottom right corner of the screen, you'll be presented with the Homebrew Launcher screen. Now you can start to access some of those applications you copied over to your SD card. The first one you want to access is the NAND dumper tool. This is going to make a backup of your internal system NAND or flash storage on your Wii U system before you do any permanent modifications to it. This is for the protection of your Wii U system so that you have a backup of your original setup for your system in case it has to be flashed to be restored. Tap NAND dumper and then tap load to start the process. You can choose to take the default settings here, or if you have a large enough SD card, you can choose to change all of these to yes to back up every possible thing from your system NAND. It will take quite a bit longer to do this and take up more space, but it does give you a more complete backup of your system as it sits today. Once you've verified your selections, press the A button to start the backup process. You'll see a series of bars with percentage numbers on them indicating the progress of the backup. Once they reach 100%, power off the Wii U and power it back on to cycle it back to the Wii U main menu. Go back to the Wii U browser to launch the Homebrew Launcher by putting in the exact same address, which is WiiUExploit.xyz, to take you back to the exploit page and run Homebrew Launcher just like you did last time. The next part of the jailbreak process is to install 𝐘𝐿𝐒. From the Homebrew Launcher, select 𝐘𝐿𝐒 by tapping on it on the Wii U Gamepad or selecting it with the A button. Then select Load to start the 𝐘𝐿𝐒 installer. You're going to be asked which game you want to exploit and install 𝐘𝐿𝐒 on. In this case, it's the only one that's on there, which is blainage for the Nintendo DS. Make sure it's highlighted with the arrow and then select it with the A button. You'll get this notice that if you want to uninstall 𝐘𝐿𝐒, you need to delete the game and reinstall the game. To proceed, press the A button. You'll see a series of messages as 𝐘𝐿𝐒 is installed over the blainage game, and it will reboot your Wii U, but not power cycle it, to go back to the Wii U home menu. Once the Wii U home menu comes up, you'll notice something a little different. It no longer has a blainage icon, it has a 𝐘𝐿𝐒 icon. Now you're ready to launch custom firmware on your Wii U for the first time. Use the Wiimote or the Wii Gamepad and the D-pad and A button to select 𝐘𝐿𝐒. Your Wii U will go through a short reboot process, and when it does, you'll be running the 𝐘𝐿𝐒 custom firmware for the first time on your Wii U. And nothing much looks very different. That's to be expected. The primary change with 𝐘𝐿𝐒 is being able to run homebrew applications on your Wii U. 𝐘𝐿𝐒 is also non-persistent, which means if you run it, it will not be there when you reboot and you'll have to run it again. Let's install cold boot 𝐘𝐿𝐒 so that you don't have to do this. It will be persistent and load up each time you reboot your Wii U. Select 𝐘𝐿𝐒 again, but this time hold the A button when you select it. Instead of rebooting your Wii U and launching 𝐘𝐿𝐒, it's going to take you to the Homebrew Launcher, which is exactly what you want. Once inside the Homebrew Launcher, select CBHC for Cold Boot 𝐘𝐿𝐒. You can select it with the Wii Remote or with the Gamepad from the touchscreen. And once it's loaded up, tap on Load or select it with the Wiimote to start the application. You'll be presented with a menu with a list of games that you can install the exploit to. Of course, the one that we're using here is blainage. It's the only one on there. Make sure the arrow is selected the DS game you want to install the exploit to, and select it with the A button. You'll get a message that CBHC can in fact brick your Nintendo Wii U under some conditions, and that you should never uninstall this title without uninstalling CBHC first. Press A to proceed, and the install process begins. Once the install process is completed, the system will soft reset again and take you back to the Wii U menu. At this point, 𝐃𝐈𝐒𝐂𝐋𝐿 is installed, but it is not actively up and running and configured yet. Power off your Wii U system and power it back on. If you've done everything right, including the proper installation of 𝐃𝐈𝐒𝐂𝐋𝐿, you'll see this menu. CBHC is not compatible with the Quick Start menu on the Wii U, so if you don't see this, check first and make sure the Quick Start menu is turned off on your Wii U settings. If you still don't see it, just check all of the installation processes and make sure you put all of the system files and folders on the SD card in the proper locations. There's only one thing you need to change here. Scroll down with the D-pad to where it says Auto Boot, and then change it from Disable to System Menu. Then scroll all the way back up to Boot System Menu and select it with the A button. Once your system goes back to its Wii U menu, you will have successfully installed 𝐃𝐈𝐒𝐂𝐋𝐿, and it will load 𝐃𝐈𝐒𝐂𝐋𝐿 every time you power off your Wii U system, which is the next thing you need to do. Power off your Wii U system now. When your system restarts, you'll see a message that says Auto Booting. When you see that message, press and hold the Home button on the Wii U Gamepad. It will go into the CBHC Settings menu. Use the D-pad to scroll the arrow down to Boot Homebrew Launcher, and then select it with the A button. Once Homebrew Launcher is activated, you'll need to scroll over to the second page for the next application you need, which is the WUP Installer GX. Scroll over to it with the arrow, and then select it with the Wiimote or the Wii U Gamepad touchscreen. Then select Load to launch the application. On the Wii U Gamepad, tap on Homebrew Launcher Installer, and then tap Install in the bottom right corner. You'll get a confirmation message, tap Yes. You'll be asked where you want to install it. Put it in the NAND. That's going to be the flash storage in the Wii U console itself. Tap on NAND to continue. You'll see a brief process and installation screen, and once it's done, select OK to continue. It'll go back to the main menu for WUP Installer. From here, you can just keep pressing the Home button on the Wii U Gamepad until you get all the way back to the Wii U Home menu. When the Wii U Home menu comes back up, you'll see that you now have an icon for the Homebrew Launcher, which is excellent. Now you can just tap on that or select it with the Wii Remote anytime you want to launch Homebrew applications. We need to preserve that backup you made of your Wii U system NAND earlier and do a little bit of quick cleanup on your PC. Take the SD card out of your Wii U and put it back in your PC. With your SD card put back into your PC, it makes sense to just grab everything that's on the SD card and back it up to your PC. This way you have your system NAND backed up and everything that's on that SD card and working backed up, so if you ever have to replicate it, you can just put that stuff right back in place on another SD card. Put the SD card in and grab everything you see on it and copy it. Then create a folder anywhere you want on your PC. In this case, I'm just putting it right on the desktop to just make it quick and easy and convenient for the process of this guide. Then double click and go into that folder and paste everything from your SD card into that folder. This will back it up on your PC and give you an archive of it just in case anything goes wrong. Plus, it's going to give us the chance here in just a minute to delete all of those files from your system NAND backup that don't need to be on your SD card now, taking up precious space. Now that you have your entire SD card backed up to your PC, you can remove the redundant NAND backup files from your SD card. Switch back over to it and delete any of the .bin extension files on the root of the SD card. You may have more than one part for your backup, depending upon the size of the Wii U that you're backing up and the amount of data in the NAND on it. Delete all of these .bin files as you're not going to need them anymore. It'll free up a lot of space on your SD card, and I'd recommend making a backup of the backup that you put on your PC just for the extra peace of mind. Go back to the Downloads folder. You don't need any of this stuff anymore. It's all installed properly on the SD card. Delete it out of the Downloads folder to clean it up. Now remove the SD card from your PC and put it back into your Wii U. Now that your Wii U's jailbroken, let's have some fun. Check out this video here, shown on screen in the desktop browsing experience and linked in the pinned comment and description.